It's finally here! Those were the words that were fired out of my mouth from my big excited heart on January 22nd of last year, the release date of a game that I was more hyped for than anything else in my entire life. They took the Paper Mario series, a uniquely beautiful action-adventure series that changed my life with its third installment, and the Mario and Luigi series, the series responsible for my love of RPGs, humor in video games, and a big part of the reason I started YouTube. And what did they do? Oh, they put them together! I've wanted developers to do something with this concept since the release of Paper Mario Sticker Star, and they finally did it! It's a Mario and Luigi world, with the paper stuff and stuff. Just take it already! So it's finally time to sit down and review this hyped as hell game. And before I do, let's go over a few things, shall we? First of all, I see no reason to hold back on any form of spoilers, especially with a game like this. Secondly, most of my personal playthrough of this game was on a system that looked like this, so I won't necessarily be too harsh on any control issues I had. And finally, this is my fucking opinion. Welcome to the internet, a world where idiots like me don't care what video game review websites have to say about games when it comes to what we think of them. I've waited long enough to do this review. Without further ado, let's jump into this game. There's been an unsettling trend in recent Mario RPGs, where the story is diminished from being complex and original to being, Bowser kidnaps Peach, guess what happens next? Unfortunately, when it comes right down to it, this game is hardly any exception. Only difference is that this time around, you got 2 Bowsers and 2 Princess Peaches. The game begins with a book filled with paper characters ending up being opened and releasing all the paper stuff from within. And I mean all of it. If any is left, it's either super unimportant or it's Paper Luigi. Yeah, he's not in this game, except for the sound test mode. Anyway, paper toads scatter across the Mushroom Kingdom, most of whom are terrified and or confused. So the bros go on an adventure to help him out, Peach and Paper Peach are kidnapped, and the bros have to fix that problem too. The concept that the story brings about is both amazing and disheartening. Amazing because, oh my god, why haven't they done this before? And disheartening because this means that Paper Mario games are confirmed to pretty much be non-canon and just in book form. And it's also disheartening to know that the reason we've been getting such bland stories compared to previous Mario RPGs like Partners in Time and Super Paper Mario is none other than Shigeru Miyamoto and his influence on the people behind the games. Developers were pressured to remove original characters and storylines in favor of pure gameplay-oriented RPGs. This can work, but only for so long. And I really hope that Color Splash is the last we'll see of this trend. Bring back the good stories, Alpha Dream and other developers. Don't listen to Miyamoto's advice on RPGs. He's a visionary in the world of platformers, but he does not understand the culture behind some of Mario's best games. Some fans hoped this game would be Mario and Luigi with Paper Mario elements. Some hoped for a Paper Mario game with Mario and Luigi elements. The game is the former in just about every sense, especially the gameplay, which, in terms of Mario and Luigi games, I feel is only beaten out by Bowser's Inside Story for the best gameplay in the series. If I can play Paper Jam on this thing and still have a blast pulling off attacks and dodges, then obviously this game has nailed its mechanics. Your party members are Mario with the A button, Luigi with the B button, and Paper Mario with the Y button. Mario and Luigi have their standard jump and hammer attacks, which work like they did in Dream Team, although I feel that the input for the hammer attack was actually slightly improved from Dream Team. Paper Mario's jump and hammer attacks work like they did in Sticker Star, except, you can't run out of times you can use the damn things. The way Paper Mario's copies work is really cool too. Then, there's the bros and trio attacks. Gonna be honest, I'm glad we don't make them with attack pieces anymore, but stealing them from Nabbit and getting them as gifts is just not satisfying at all. In Superstar Saga, when you learn new field moves, you get new brothers attacks. In Partners in Time, they were items. In Bowser's Inside Story and Dream Team, they're made from 10 attack pieces in a region. In this game, they're just kind of given to you. The attacks themselves, on the other hand, are awesome. Paper Jam definitely has one of the best, if not the best roster of special attacks you can perform. 3D red shells are the same as Dream Team, but with a different shell hitbox, which may take some getting used to, but it still works. The Fire Flowers are what the Fire Flowers in Dream Team should have been. Rocket Blast is hard and takes practice, but is so fun. The Drill Shell is amazing and is like the jump helmet of Paper Jam. Bomb Derby and Drop Chopper are improved versions of Dream Team attacks, especially Drop Chopper, as Alpha Dream has realized that gyro controls are and replaced it with circle pad controls, which work so much better. Cannonball Chuck and Balloon Blast are those items that might not be the most practical, but are so addicting to use. And Toad Trail and Mega Thwonk are very fitting finisher attacks that are fittingly hard to get excellent on. And oh my god, the trio attacks. The Racket is a great attack, even for late game. The Kite is good for single enemy attacks. The Whirligig is my personal favorite attack in the game. The Shuriken is a more complicated version of the green shells from Partners in Time, and the red shells as well, but more powerful because of it. And Trio Meteor is tricky as hell, but definitely interesting concept. The status effects are fitting and not overly obnoxious, as few enemies have attacks that cause these effects, and most of the time the attacks themselves are easy to dodge. Then, on the other side of battle, defending has never been so incredibly intricate. I like how Paper Mario can use copies for the extra counterattack damage and loses copies when he takes damage. I like how not every attack is the same for enemies. I like how hard the boss battle attacks are to dodge. This game is overall significantly more difficult than Dream Team or Bowser's Inside Story, and it competes with Partners in Time for the second hardest Mario and Luigi game. So, this game's big new thing in the battle department is the battle cards. Think of the badges in the previous two Mario and Luigi games, but with more Yu-Gi-Oh! They require star points to use and can do a number of things, most of which are seen already from Dream Team, although there are a surprising amount of enemy-specific cards in the game that have hardly any use other than collector's purposes or to be sold. As for the Amiibo functionality, I never used it because I do not have a new 3DS, but of all the features that I couldn't access, it's fine for me because thankfully, with something as exclusive as a new 3DS only use of an outside purchase, it's largely self-explanatory and doesn't add anything too significant to the game. I still want to use the Mario series Yoshi amiibo I have though. As for field techniques, the trio hammer and X button to float jump and releasing to dash work very well. Although I feel the trio hammer suffers the same issue that the sliding punch did in Bowser's Inside Story. It's an improved version of an attack you already had, and so the game feels that you have to do this improved version of your attack every time you want to break something from then on after you learn it. In Superstar Saga, you didn't have this issue because the Super and Ultra hammers only took one button input anyway, and there aren't rocks in damn near every room. The other ones, though. Yes. Yes! Yes! God damn it, you just can't go wrong with Mario and Luigi! As implied from my description of the story, there aren't any original characters in this game. What's original, though, is the personality some of these characters get. Many of the NPCs are so entertaining that you forget how many games they've already been in. Whether it be Toadette, the master papercraft handywoman, Starlo, who seems to get less obnoxious in every game she's in, and in fact, has one of the best quotes in the game, and those goddamn clowns we know as the Koopalings. Holy shit. They are absolutely hilarious in this game, and the entertainment value they provide doesn't stop at their interactions and cutscenes via dialogue. When you battle them, certain counterattacks can trigger them to attack each other, taking damage in the process. Absolutely genius! This is what Sticker Star was missing. And that's coming from someone who liked that game. Alright, let's address the paper elephant in the room. The Paper Toad quests. Now, you may be surprised to find out that these segments of the game are really not that bad at all. Honestly, they work as a nice change of pace for the most part. Keywords, for the most part. While fun, they take up a solid chunk of the playing time of the entire game, a chunk that many people agree to be far too big. I agree to a certain extent, and as someone who 100%ed everything, including these Paper Toad quests, I feel that of the ones offered at the Lakitu Info Centers, too many are required to finish the game. I feel that if just a few more were optional, perhaps there wouldn't be so many people raging in comment sections that these segments bog down the game to the point where it's the worst Mario RPG ever created. However, there is one thing that kept me through these quests, which I'll get to in a second as soon as I catch this one toad. God damn it, we're here to help you! We're the main characters!
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Oh, the music in this game needs absolutely no introduction. It's composed by my all-time favorite video game composer, a great woman who has previously composed music for Super Mario RPG, all 4 Mario & Luigi games, Xenoblade Chronicles, the Kingdom Hearts series, and much more. Yoko Shimomura. You seen my Paper January series yet? Part 4 was dedicated to her work. See that copyright claim? You know what, Nintendo? Take that money! Shimomura earned it for you! I rank this the 4th best soundtrack out of every Mario RPG, and the 3rd best soundtrack out of every Mario RPG Shimomura has composed music for. You probably know most of the soundtracks now, especially if you've seen Paper January. Pretty much all the cutscene music stands out more than ever, and that's a good thing. The Superstar Saga battle music is nothing short of divine. Holy sh**, is the minigame theme catchy. The final boss themes are, as always, among the best in the entire Mario franchise. And Mountaintop Secrets is atmospheric, beautiful, and admittedly really hard to stop listening to. But, in my personal opinion, none of these previously listed songs are my favorite song in the game. You might be surprised to hear that the song responsible for me putting up with those blue toads running away from the Mario Brothers is the Paper Toad Quest song, Where's Toad? It's a simple, cute melody that gets stuck in your head, as expected in missions that take long and there are many of. But as it gets in my head, it doesn't annoy me. It soothes me, reassures me, and raises my toad-finding spirits. The much more upbeat Time's Running Out fits the mood of the quests with time limits, but the other ones are made way more enjoyable from this amazing song. And also, because there's no time limit. I stand with Logan, worst video game cliché. The Mario & Luigi series has always had a cartoony approach to the aesthetic, and since this game's visuals are pretty much Dream Team but with a side of Sticker Star, it's hardly anything to complain about. Nothing ever really gets in the way of your line of vision, the battle effects are cool, and just like in Dream Team, I strongly recommend turning on the 3D setting every time you defeat a boss, just to see those stars fly out. So satisfying. The regular boss battles in this game work similarly to Dream Team, with one pleasantly surprising twist. They're hard! I haven't had to restart this many times since the days of the first 2 Mario & Luigi RPGs. The attacks are way harder to dodge in this game than just about any other Mario & Luigi game, including the first 2, with super extravagant attacks that act like the boss fights themselves have grasped the concept of trio attacks. And funny I should bring that up, considering one of Shiny Robo Bowser's counterattacks is just that. Well done. Bravo in that regard. It's me clapping my mic. As for the other side of things, after the way that Dream Team took the giant battles from its predecessor and twisted it into horrific messes of terrible hit detection and gyro controls so awful that it's responsible for my least favorite boss fight in the whole Mario series, I'm damn glad we get something very different this time around. The only thing retained in this game was the scale of the battles, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, any other way other than one thing. These papercraft battles are way too short. I was hoping for much longer and much more epic battles in these papercraft models, but it really boils down to a handful of battles that, aside from changing battlefields a few times, are kept overly simple, Come on, Alpha Dream, you're a little better than this, and you know that. Go crazy. Make these battles bigger and better. Also, as a side note, a certain YouTube comment brought up a very good point. Why does Yoshi fight King Boo while Luigi fights Kamek? You could have had a nice reference to Yoshi's Island and Luigi's Mansion, and you blew it. To me, a big part of what I think of a game is the way I feel after the credits roll. It's obvious as to what I want to feel. Satisfied, complete, and in line with the feeling of the ending itself, whether it be happy, sad, or ambiguous. Well, to keep things simple, at the end of the game, I felt satisfied with my journey. It was as complete as it needed to be, albeit in no way above and beyond, and in line with my feeling of the ending, happy. The ending got the job done. It hardly did anything to make it super stand out, but didn't drop the ball either. So it's time for final thoughts and ratings. Well, this was a very enjoyable game overall, and the entertainment of the game kept me through the whole way, even with that godforsaken broken hinge on my console. I only hope the very best for this series and the Paper Mario series in the future, and that the writers will stop listening to Miyamoto's words as if they're the words of God. I'm glad I picked this game up day one and spent many hours completing it, and I feel that it was certainly worth the $40 price tag. Final verdict, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 being average, this game gets an 8.75. It's no masterpiece, but it's certainly worth your time, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. On the scale of the Mario RPGs, it's the least impressive Mario & Luigi RPG so far, but that's not saying too much, as all of the first 4 games are in my 25 favorite games of all time, one of which claims the number 1 spot, with the number 2 spot also claimed by Super Paper Mario. However, I did like this game more than Sticker Star, Paper Mario for the N64, and yes, I liked it more than the Thousand Year Door. There! I said it! Burn me! Ah, yes. Glad I could finally finish this. This took an absurdly long time to finish, and as we speak, I don't even know if it'll be up before the Season 4 opener. All you need to know is that this project is finally done, and I could not feel more glad to say that. With all that said, keep looking forward, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.